There we go. Yeah.
I can figure it out. Never mind, Brian.
All right, guys, we're live. Okay. This is a special meeting of the Board of Trustees for Springfield Township. I'm going to call that meeting to order. That is this meeting. Mrs. Price, will you call the roll?
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Here.
Mr. Young,
Here.
Mr. DeLauro.
Here.
Pursuant to health regulations due to the COVID-19 pandemic, there is no public participation at the meeting. This is being live streamed for people to be able to watch on YouTube. Members of the public that wish to submit comments or questions may do so by submitting their comments to the trustees by emailing tedw@springfieldtownship.us. Then, consistent with our procedure, the trustees will receive the comments or questions and will respond to them if appropriate at the next public meeting or directly to individuals submitting them. I'm going to jump into the agenda with a couple of housekeeping matters. First of all, I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes and to approve the minutes to date.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
Next, I move to approve payment of bills and payroll as prepared by the fiscal officer, subject to audit.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro, you have some administrative items for us to act on?
Yes. I move to approve the proposal from J. Bowers Construction in the amount of $343,884 for the building improvements to the fire and police department, and also $270,876.50 for those same improvements. This to be paid from Fund Line 2272-220-720, and also $73,007.50 to be paid from Fund Line 2081-760-790 Capital Outlay Fund. This is for the construction of the police and fire due to bring everything up to COVID standards to help with, to provide a more safe working environment for our police and fire, as well as our admin people.
I would second the motion.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes. And I move to approve the proposal from Silco Fire and Security in the amount of $46,305. This to be paid from Fund Line 1,930,930. And this is to update our fire and security systems throughout the building.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes. And lastly, I move to rescind administrative motion 288-20 to correct the record of our proceedings.
I would second that.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
Mrs. Davis, you have some matters that come before the board.
Yes, I do. I move to approve the transfer of funds per the attached Exhibit A for proper documentation of expenditures.
I would second that.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
And I move non-pro tunc to approve the payment to Penn Care in the amount of $1,793 and paid from Fund 2111-290-500 for EMS supplies.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
And I move to authorize the purchase on behalf of the Board of Trustees as a buyer of real property located at 1050 Mohawk Trail in Springfield Township, known as parcel number 51-03167, 51-03168, and 51-03169 for the sum of $6,000, conditional upon obtaining marketable title free and clear of all liens and encumbrances, and further to ratify the previous action by Trustee DeLauro executing the attached agreement.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
I abstain.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
We do have one additional matter. For the police department, I move to hire Philip McLeod as part-time police officer contingent upon successful completion of Phase 2 conditional offer, polygraph exam, drug screen, fingerprint background, and range qualification.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes.
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
Are there other matters to come before the board?
Not at this time.
I wanted to note for the record that my abstention on the one motion relative to Mohawk Trail was based on the fact that Attorney Rocco Jurgen, with whom I'm associated, represents the executor who's the owner of that property. Anything further for the board? If not, I'm going to move that we adjourn.
Second.
Roll call, Mrs. Davis,
Yes.
Mr. Young,
Yes,
Mr. DeLauro.
Yes.
we stand adjourned.